In response to the arrival of transportation companies such as Uber and Lyft, the Montgomery County Council is introducing 3 bills to address some of the issues the taxi cab industry is facing. And as Susan Kenedy tells us, council members want to ensure a competitive market while providing safe and convenient services. Susan?
That's right. Council members hope by establishing these bills, they will create a level playing field for all taxi service companies. The bills were the subject of a work session for the Council's Transportation and Environment Committee. Councilmember Hans Remer says what the Council is attempting to accomplish is complicated.
The concern, of course, would be that the rules that we impose on Uber become so strict that Uber says, well, we're pulling out, and that's not what we want. On the other hand, we want to be able to assure residents that when they get into that car, that the highest standards of safety are in effect.
Some of the regulations that have been proposed in the legislation include who can get licenses and would require companies like Uber and Lyft to meet certain registration requirements. As Roger Berliner tells us, there has been some pushback from those companies in what is being asked of them, specifically requiring drivers be fingerprinted as part of their registration.
Uber and Lyft resist that. They believe that their background checks are actually superior to what communities across the country have required on fingerprinting. I don't think our committee is convinced of that, particularly insofar as it costs $35 and you get it in 72 hours. We don't see why that's such a significant impediment to someone becoming a driver in this way.
One of the bills addresses how Uber and Lyft has affected taxi cab companies here in the county. Council members say their arrival calls for legislation that assists the existing taxi cab companies in adapting to the changing marketplace.
The private sector is proving that there's a better way to provide this service, and Uber is better than the traditional taxi model. I don't think there's any question about that. And so what are we going to do in that environment? Are we going to, shut out the better service model because it challenges some of our notions about how things should be done? Or are we going to adapt, and keep moving forward? And I think we should be moving forward.
In Rockville, I'm Susan Kenedy for County Report This Week.